is this Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. We can see us right now on our YouTube video, and that is on, just go to YouTube and go to the search block. Let me get that straightened out. If you're watching on YouTube, you see I'm straightening it out, making it all better. Okay, give me a second. There we go, that's good enough. Have to get rid of that stuff. Well, I thought I could. Hold on. There we go. Now we're down to something that looks normal. You can go right down to YouTube, go into YouTube, put in the search block my call, K4PEW. That's Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. And you can get a look at my radio screen, and you'll be able to see what my signal, well, your signal looks like, and other people's signals look like, and you'll be able to hear stations you might not be able to hear on your own radio. And if you do that, if you can't do that, if that's possible, you probably want a new antenna, a better antenna, higher antenna, or whatever. Anyway, you can also see information on Simplex at 146.415.net. Easy to remember that. I shouldn't have to repeat it. You can also go to our groups.io site. Just go to groups, groups.in the Oscar, and just do a search in their search block for MJSS, for Mount Juliet Simplex Society. You can sign up for email. You can also, email is kind of, the system is kind of neat because you can buy and sell equipment. You can ask technical questions. You can get involved with other hams, get announcements about our nets and other ham radio activities here in the, not only locally, but in kind of on a national, international basis. Some other stuff goes out too. Anyway, or you can send me an email if you don't want to do any of that at k4pew@arrl.net. No complaints, please. Yeah, we'll take complaints here. There's no complaint box. And that normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night. We've been doing that now for 8 years and some odd months, 3 months, 4 months. We did it, 2014 was the start here. And we conduct the net on 146.415.net. It's 146.415.net. And that's Simplex, of course. The purpose of the net is to have fun, figure out who you can hear, who you can hear, and figure out why. That's kind of the way it is. A lot of, well, some hams, I don't know if a lot do, some hams keep track of who they can hear, because I announce who they are, and I also announce where they are. That way you can look them up yourself, see the distances, and see the terrain issues between the two of you, wherever they are. So it's kind of I think it's a very, a net that's good for people trying to figure out how good their stations are. As far as announcements, we've got 3 nets tonight, 146.415.net. And we're also going to do 28.415 upper sideband, and also do a version of 223.415 FM on the 220 band. Tonight we will be doing, I do that again, hold on, net number, whatever I said the net number was. There you go, it's net number 862, and we're starting from the west. 862 starting, I had to write it down because I forgot. We'll be taking check. Is there any other, nobody else with announcements? All righty, and we'll just jump right in there. We will have taking check-ins now. We will be taking check-ins from the west, but we're going to start with check-ins from mobile and people short on time. So please come down.
KQ4 AET Mobile.
Hey, Mr. KQ8, KQ4 AET. What's doing, Chris?
Now I'm headed back. I'm having dinner with some friends out tonight. So almost get to the house, and once I get in there, the kids will be all over me. So there'll be no chance to play radio. So I want to get in before I get there.
Absolutely. You want to take time with your kids tonight?
Of course.
All right, very good. Anything else for the net, Chris?
No, sir. Well, I don't know if you mentioned, I got on a little before you finished the announcements and stuff, but the Wilson County Amateur Radio Club meeting is this Saturday at 6. And I believe, if you think it's this Saturday, that they're doing the end-fed half-wave antenna build. If you've got the parts, there is a kit that you can buy from ARRL. So I know I'll be doing that with a few other people.
Ah, very good. Yeah, in fact, I have one of those, but I don't have the kit. I made the kit myself. But yeah, so they're meeting in Oak Street, is that correct?
Yes, I think that's it. It's right across the street from the Emergency Operations Center there in Lebanon.
Right, very good. That's anyway. Chris is telling us they're going to do an end-fed half-wave demonstration and assembly for those that bought the kits, but you can probably go and learn something about the end-fed half-wave antenna at that meeting. And that's at Oak Street, 6 p.m. this coming Saturday. And again, end-fed half-wave, EFHW. That was very good. That was Chris, KQ4 Alpha Echo Tango. Anybody else short on time or mobile?
You already did.
Hello, Eddie. What's up?
All right. Well, thanks for doing the net. I just thought I'd check in. We're pretty busy helping someone with their Facebook account. So, catch you later. W4D.
Yeah, very good. Help them get off Facebook, I hope. And nothing else for the net, Eddie?
That's about it.
Very good. That was Eddie. Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. He's out helping somebody out do something with Facebook. Who else is short on time?
Kilo 4 Victor.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. Been around 20 minutes earlier and parks on the air and so you're kind of relaxing right now.
Well, it's a good night to relax. It's cooling off a little bit, so it's not as nice as it was. Well, it was raining yesterday evening, so I'm not sure that was a good example.
Oh yeah. Hope you're doing well.
Oh yeah, no, doing fine. Finally recovering from COVID, so I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good. That's some nasty stuff.
Well, it wasn't horrible for me. I only had one kind of nasty day and a few lousy days. I don't know how to explain it better than that, but I didn't get hit as hard as my wife did.
As long as you both are getting back on your feet, that's all that counts.
Oh yeah, no, everything's getting back to normal. It's just actually, what's funny is that COVID or no COVID, and then some people really took COVID badly, which through death or through really bad experiences. But even a bad flu can wipe people out for 10 days to 2 weeks. So it's not unusual to have the flu affect somebody badly.
Oh yeah, I know. I've had my rounds with it since this stuff started. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had the COVID, so just keep knocking on the wood and keep on going so long.
Oh yeah, you can't do any more than that. In fact, that's why I joked about us getting sick. I said, man, how do we avoid it for 2.5 years?
Yeah, really. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't really got it. Many people as you get around, it's just you don't ever know.
No, that's the whole point, is you can't know. I mean, it's that's why, to me, the concept of saying you could avoid this issue is almost impossible, because that means never leaving the house.
Oh yeah, or leaving it in a excuse language condom.
Oh, that's what I'm getting at. There's no way you could avoid this ultimately. And some people are going to get it. There's other people who ain't going to get it. And I don't know who those in either party are going to happen. Anyway, anything else for the net there, Mike?
No, we're good. Say good evening to you and everybody on the net. And hope everybody has a good day and hope everybody's had a happy new year. Started anyway. Trying to make a few.
Yeah, very good. That's Mike. Kilo 4 Victor Alpha, and he is in Hendersonville. Who else is short on time or mobile?
Kilo November 4 Tango Juliet Foxtrot.
Oh man, this sounds differently than normal, Rick.
Well, Rick, all he can hear is static tonight, so I'm checking in for him.
Is it antenna problem or is this conditions?
Well, it may be conditions, I don't know, but I told him I need to come over there and check his antenna.
Well, I know that on the net last night with Rutherford County, there was some horrible conditions.
Oh yeah, there was.
Anyway, it's interesting how I said yours is good today. That's excellent. Of course, you're a lot closer than you used to be.
Oh yeah, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, very good. And so you're checking in too, I take it?
Yes, I am. KM4 YRF Mike in Nashville.
Yeah, very good. Southeast Nashville, to be clear.
I'm not really sure if it's southeast or southwest, but it's south something.
Well, you're closer to the airport than you are to the other side of town.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Anyway, anything else on that, Mike?
No, that's all, Paul. I will be checking in on the 220 on the DMR net on Saturday night.
Oh, very good. Glad to hear it. That was Mike, KM4YRF. He was also checking in for Rick, KN4TJF, who's in Ashland City, and you can't transmit, so we take it as a relay because he can't hear me. Or you get a little noise on his end over in Ashland City area. Who else is mobile or sort of. No, we're actually starting from the west. Please come now.
4ILV, Jack and Donald.
Hey, Jack. I think it was a double in there. Everything going okay with you? Are you here? Well, we don't have anybody far away tonight, so I can't ask you very. Won't be a good answer on if you can hear people.
I ain't heard anybody but locals so far.
Yeah, that's all there is. Everything going okay?
Yeah, how about you?
Oh, good. We just get had enough rain. Even last night, I was up when it started pouring out. Right? After midnight.
Yeah, that wind is what bothers me. It's like I have to go ahead and make sure my antennas are still up there.
Yeah, it was noisy, wasn't it?
It really was. Thanks for doing that, Paul. I'll let you go. And KG4ILV, I'm clear.
Very good. That was Jack. Kilo Golf for India Lima Victor in Donaldson. Who else is west?
Kilo Delta 4 Charlie, Victor Echo, Greg, and Antioch.
Hey, Greg. You must have had the same front that moved through your area early this morning, didn't you?
I know I didn't hear it, but I apparently didn't hear my dog who cornered a possum, so I must have been sleeping good.
Yeah, but the possum usually can't. They just fall over and look dead.
Yeah, but apparently my dog went off. Well, not my dog. One of the roommate's dogs went off for quite a while, but I didn't hear it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny how they look dead when they go dead. I mean, when they aren't dead.
Yeah, we actually raised the baby. One of our earliest memories as a kid was we raised a baby possum that my dad brought home and raised it in a sock, and then we let it go to the woods.
Yeah, those are cute, ugly things, ain't they?
One of the dumbest animals on earth.
Oh, you think it is? Yeah, I know. I had to rescue one. I may have told you that. I went out and heard something scattering around inside of an empty trash can. It was up against the fence, and a little baby possum, a small possum, I don't know, it was baby, but climbed up the fence and fell into the trash can.
Sounds about right. And they can eat anything.
Well, maybe that's good. It's like there's lots of things can eat just about anything. Ants being one of them.
Come in.
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, possums eat ticks. They love ticks.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. That's good. Anyway, I heard that. They eat ticks. I think you do eat anything, though. Anyway, anything else for the net, Greg?
No, that's it. That's the Crime Stopper.
All right. We'll see you over on the other two nets. That was Greg in Antioch. Yeah, Antioch. Kilo Delta 4, Charlie, and Victor Echo. Had a brain freeze there for a minute. Who else is west?
Yeah, 4.
Hey, Chris, up.
I just got home, realized what day and what time it was, thought I'd hop on the net. Say hi. Well, have a nice evening. Yeah, 4WB.
Yeah, very good, Chris. Your foot any better?
A little bit every day. I don't know. I figure probably a few more weeks, maybe a month at the most, I'll be able to have that talk about them fixing my knees. If they won't do anything with my knees, I'm going to I just haul one around till then.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah, that must be. That's a struggle. I know. I never had that kind of a problem, but I know when I broke a toe or something, and you're walking around like you're walking on eggs all the time.
Especially when I live in a second floor apartment, I'm up and down the stairs every day. You try to minimize it. I'm out down there, and I try to do everything I can before I get up and down the stairs. I need to work out, I'll go to the gym, which I might be back in there tomorrow.
Cool. Very good. That was Chris, KI4WBZ, and he is in. Where is he? He's in Hermitage, and good signal, by the way, Chris. Sound great. Who else is west?
KN4ZCF.
Is that Zed Charlie Foxtrot?
Zulu Papa Foxtrot.
Oh yes. How are you doing tonight?
My name is Will. It's Kilo November 4 Zulu Papa Foxtrot. I'm in Nashville, over near the Radnor Lake area, on a ICOM ID 52 handheld.
Oh, very good. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people going to hear you, but I hear you just fine. You're just a little, a bunch of hash in there, but it's a good signal.
All right. Well, I've heard the Hermitage station. I've heard the Nashville station, the Mount Juliet station. That last station in the Hermitage. If I held my hand held sideways, I could hear him okay. Otherwise, I just got static. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, Yeah, but that kind of goes to show you, HTs are not made for long range simplex.
Yeah, roger that. I just was listening and thought I'd try to get in there. So I copy you really strong and enjoy it. So thanks a lot for picking me up.
Yeah, very good, Will. I'm pretty sure you've checked in before, correct?
Yes, I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I've checked in before.
Yeah, as soon as you mentioned Radnor Lake area, because we talked about that before.
Yeah, roger that. So I'm up a little bit. I've got a little elevation, so that probably helps. And I can look. I'm on the back of the house, looking out of towards the airport. So I can see the lights of the city from here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm in the same boat here in Mount Juliet. That's why the Simplex Net is from here. Because I started it because I was at that elevation. Because like right now, if I look out my back window, I can see all the lights on the buildings in Nashville and beyond. Because my elevation is at almost 700 feet, looking, and out my back door is all just clear shot into the buildings in Nashville.
Yeah, roger that. Well, yep. That's the reason I choose to get out at all, I'm sure. But thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate you picking me up. And thanks for calling in. Have a good evening. KM4ZPM.
Yeah, that was Will, and he is in he's in the Radnor Lake area in Nashville. Kilo November for Zulu Papa Foxtrot. He didn't say it that way. He said Zed Papa Foxtrot, I believe. Anyway, who else is West? By the way, Zed Will was on an HT, so if you could hear him, bravo. I could hear him real well. Anyway, anybody else West?
WS5 DFR.
Oh, how are you tonight?
Good, Paul. Things are well here in Hermitage. All's well. The rain's over, and I think we'll make it.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know, Rick. We had enough rain for a couple of summers, I think.
No question, but we're all good. I'll look forward to doing a 10-minute net with you.
Oh, very good. You doing all right over there in Hermitage?
Yes, sir. All's well, getting close to Friday, so we're good.
Oh, very good. All right, very good. That's Will. He's in Hermitage. Whiskey 5 Delta Foxtrot Romeo, and good signal again. Who's West? Who else?
KC4TNQ.
Hello, TNQ. That's man, my mind went blank there. How you doing tonight?
It's Charles in West Nashville. Kobe didn't race your mind there, did it?
Oh, sometimes I think it did. Yeah, I'll tell you sometimes about why I think my mind's gone erased anyway. But it was a long time ago. Anyway, no, that's now you got a good signal, Charles. I'm sorry. I've had before I got on the net tonight. This is an excuse, but I had one of those frustrating things. I was trying to change my wife's phone from her old phone to a new phone, and I made the mistake of calling customer service, and I was online for 35 minutes after already spending 35 minutes trying to do it online. So I was a little frustrated.
Yeah, well, I've been on the phone for 2 weeks for people. We've been having to do training for work, and of course they started on us right, for our vacation time. So it's just been a madhouse. Everybody calling, trying to figure out how to get to this and to that, and the programs themselves. It's not hard to do the training. It was just hard to navigate the programs.
Oh boy, it was everybody. It was all new to everybody. Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, everybody was needing help. We was trying to help each other get through, at least navigate through the program to where you could do the training.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, sometimes you begin to wonder. See, we used to do all that stuff on overhead slides and brought everybody into town.
Yeah, well, now everything's online, but thanks for being there. Hope you get feeling better. I know it's rough. I know a fella, apparently he's got the long COVID. He's had it for, I know, probably 3 months now, so it's been awful for him. He's still in and out of the hospital or emergency room or whatever, but thanks for being there. Have a good evening. Y'all, everybody be safe. KC4, TNQ.
Yeah, very good. That was Charles, Kilo Charlie 4 Tango, November, Quebec. No, I can't imagine somebody suffering that long with COVID. I did learn something today, but if everybody was listening, not that it matters, but there's something like 40 different vaccines around the world that were used. 40 of them. And I thought, holy crap. How many manufacturers make that stuff? Anyway, that was Charles. Kilo Charlie 4 Tango, November, Quebec. And he is in West Nashville. Who else is, where am I? West. Or south.
That's 041.
Oh, Mike, what's up?
Hey, I tried to holler out at you last night to see how your VA visit went, but I heard you already say you did get the cooties.
Yeah. Well, I had, in fact, I went over to Walgreens and had the COVID test today. It hasn't replied back yet, but it's almost impossible that it wasn't COVID, considering my wife got it and then a couple of days later I got it. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's funny. I wasn't on the radio. I didn't realize it until I got on that tonight. All last night and all day today, my radio was on another simplex frequency.
But you did have a VA appointment, didn't you? I thought you were getting checked for it. I thought you said they were going to test you for the flu or COVID.
Oh yeah, after I told them that I left a note for my primary physician. I said I'm pretty sure I have COVID because my wife has COVID too, and hers was confirmed. And so she notified me. Said, "Nope, you're not coming in." So I didn't make the trip to Nashville. She was so we did one of those telehealth or whatever they call it. No, the VA calls it something different. But anyway, we did it on an interview with microphones and I'm just afraid sometimes you call the doctor and he says, "Okay, now take off your shirt." On the camera. No, they didn't do that. Everything I told her, everything was fine on my end. We just talked about things. But anyway, no, I did not take I wasn't going to drive all the way down to West Nashville to have a COVID test.
Yeah, I did do those telephone interviews with the primary care during the COVID. But yeah, I told you I had an appointment yesterday, and I started to leave out the house, and my old car ran out of Freon, so I didn't have the defog capability, and I couldn't see to get out of the neighborhood, so I had to reschedule.
Oh wow! I'm going to tell you something else about that. Oh yeah, it was kind of funny. I got the mail before I came in to do the interview on the PC, and it was funny because I got two. I had already scheduled for this, and it was already an appointment at the same time at 3:00, a regular in-person appointment. We changed it to an appointment for whatever time. I don't think it was 3. I think it was 1, and we already scheduled that meeting, and I already had an appointment for the same time, a regular appointment. And what did I get today in the mail? A reminder about the appointment and a cancellation for the same appointment. That's why they decided I wasn't going to do it on the same day I was doing it. Didn't make any sense. I got them all within an hour of the meeting.
I know I get those contradictory notifications and phone calls, and I have to call sometimes and re-verify, but it's crazy. But yeah, yesterday when I was getting ready to head out there, or tried to head out there, it was right at when that first big band was coming through of rain, and man, I couldn't even wipe the windshield to keep that fog off.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah, no, that's I joke about the VA, but they're pretty good about it, given the volume of people they have to handle and the fact that it's a government institution. I don't get upset by it.
Well, I'm happy with them. My lack of income, I don't have to pay for anything. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go there. Carry on. Whiskey on 4 Yankee.
Hey, by the way, for anybody who has VA access, I went to Walgreens and figured I'd have to pay for it. She said, "Do you have insurance?" I said, "No, I use the VA." She said, "Okay, I'll work it out for you." She said, "Oh, it's free. It's free at Walgreens to do a COVID test."
So they take your VA Medicare or whatever it is.
Yeah, they don't give it a second. I didn't care. I was going to pay for it. It beat driving down to Nashville today. Or yesterday.
That's cool. Yeah, I hate when I have to do certain appointments in Nashville. Murfreesboro's my regular spot, but anyway, I'll say 73s again. Whiskey Oscar 4 Yankee. Carry on.
Yeah, very good. That's Mike. Whiskey Oscar 4 Yankee in Laverne. Great signal as always. Who else is Sal?
83 NPR.
I had 3 in there. K3 MPR. Hold on one second. I had 2 in there. What am I saying? But I did have Tony was in there first. KF4 KFQ. What's up, Tony?
Not much. Just hanging out without puttering around today. I don't know. I turned out today. I didn't feel good today. I don't know. I just couldn't quite get the engine running. But just about the afternoon was okay, but just today, I don't know. Just a little lethargic, I guess.
Probably that front that moved in.
Yeah, okay. Well, all these man-made brakes and all these steel parts. But I did get out and pick up 3 bags of garbage, so I guess that made me feel better.
Oh, I did see that. Well, that's beats going to the gym.
Well, that's after I picked up 3 bags of garbage on that very same road the day before.
Yeah, well, a lot of trash throwing people down there in that Smyrna area, unless they're all from Laverne who drive up there to dump their trash.
Well, could be trying.
No, again, you know my view on that. I can't believe people throw stuff out their windows like that.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I still think that it's going to take sitting out there in a rocking chair with a couple of 12 gauge of cold drink, and when they roll the window down and toss it, you yell pull.
Yeah, maybe I just put up a sign at both ends and say something like "Today's Sniper Day, so caution."
Yeah, somehow I got a feeling they would haul me away rather than the dumper.
Oh, it could be just one of those snipers with, well, BBs would be a little rough, but how about those what do you call it? What do they call those? The soft pellets. What do they call those?
I was thinking paintballs. Put some permanent dye in the paintball so that you hit them, they walk around with a big purple blotch all over.
Indelible.
Indelible, yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, remind me to tell you a story about that. Anyway, anything else for the net tonight, Tony?
Nothing worthwhile.
Okay, very good. That was Tony, KF4, KFQ, Big Signal. He is in Smyrna. And Mike, how you doing there in south/southeast Mount Juliet?
Doing well. I'm kind of surprised the number of people that are coming down with this COVID stuff. 3 or 4 of the guys that I had breakfast with are down with it. Thankfully, I think I've been hanging around when they were sick. But but in addition on that meeting for this Saturday for the Wilson County Radio Club, they also do testing. So if anybody wants to upgrade their license or whatever, go there about 4:30 and test.
Oh, the testing is at 4:30. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. It is at 4:30, but the general meeting's at 6 p.m.
Yep. So it's a good chance to knock the test out of the way. I'm still studying for that extra, but eventually I'll go take the test.
Yeah, well, it takes time. I know that. I think I told you I studied for about every day. Not about. I spent every day for 30 days straight. About maybe it was anywhere from 45 minutes to 90 minutes a day, every day studying for the extra test.
Yeah, I've been kind of slacking on. I haven't touched the book in a while, so I'll get back into it in a few days.
Yeah, no, I just encourage you to do that though, because that's the whole. As we get older, I don't think we retain it as well.
Either I can pay somebody to take it for me.
Oh yeah, well that wouldn't be any fun. But that's the problem with that test is there's a lot of stuff that you may never use in ham radio, and even if you do use it, you're gonna have to go back and look at the book because you'll forget it by that time.
Oh, without a doubt. But I'm kind of surprised. I'm not hearing everybody on this radio tonight. I'll check out the event. What's doing next going on?
Oh, I don't know. Well, again, you're too close to me for it to be able to tell you anything about your signal, but you're very great to me. Yeah, you must have been busy. I haven't heard from you in a little while.
Part of it I get to do something to forget about the net. And by the time I remember, it's already passed.
Oh yeah, I know the deal. I can't forget. Well, I could forget the net, but I don't. Not anymore. I have forgotten it a couple of times. Anyway, anything else for the net, Mike?
No, that's it. That's just it. Remind everybody that anybody wants to upgrade, show up there at Wilson County and take the test and get upgraded or get licensed.
Yeah, very good. Reminder that at 4:30 at the Oak Street the club meeting they're having on Saturday, they do the license testing, and then the 6 p.m. is the regular Wilson County Amateur Radio Club meeting. Anyway, that was Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo is Mike, and he's here in east of Providence. Who else is south? Oh, yeah, south. Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Were you referring to that indelible grease that the snipes used to have?
No, there is an indelible. There's indelible ink, but yeah, well, some of that grease the snipes had was indelible in it.
remember them tagging people to make them stand out when they went off on Liberty?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, we'll have to talk about it later.
All right, very good. Old Navy lingo, I guess. Anyway, that's Mike. That was also Mike. Whiskey Oscar 4 Yankee. Anybody else south?
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Hey, you been on long, Larry? Because you sound pretty good for a bad propagation night.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
All right, very good. Anything else for the net?
Oh man, what did you get on with it? KE4 SYB.
Very good. That's Larry. Larry's the one who does the DM, the D-Star net. It's 7:15 on Saturdays, and that's of course on 146.460. And that's Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. Who else is south or east? South or east? Please come down.
KI4 SYB, KI4 SOR. Good evening, Paul.
Hey, Richard. What's going on with you? Okay, this is another. We're running into another Saturday for you.
I know it, and I'm tickled pink. I don't know what's going on. I think it's closer to me than it is anywhere else. But I've got some noise on it. You put a full signal on me, but the signal is scratchy at best. It's not hampering me from understanding what you're saying, but it's wreaking havoc on everything else I'm trying to hear. But I'm satisfied it's something close to me.
Well, there isn't. It isn't as good tonight as it normally is for some stations. You're right, and the weather conditions, I'm sure, are affecting it all.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a car is sitting somewhere idling, and I'm getting motor noise off of it.
Okay, there could be something close to you that's making that right.
Anyway, I appreciate what you're doing. 7-3 to everybody that can hear me, and we'll holler at you when we can. Happy New Year.
Yeah, very good. That's Richard, KI4SIB, telling everybody Happy New Year, and that's Stephanie, his bride, KI4SOR. They're just west of downtown Lebanon. Who else is south or east?
Okay, I'm for you.
Hey, Stan, everything going well?
Going pretty well, Paul. How about you?
Well, we're getting over the COVID, so we're doing okay.
Yeah, not glad that you're getting over the COVID.
Well, it beats the alternative, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. I have a question for you and or Richard. It seemed like I'd heard him say before that the Wilson County Club does the testing. I don't remember if he said every month or when exactly it is.
I'm pretty confident it's every month, but Richard can square me away on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have been told that. Every month, about 4 or 4:30 at the same location that the meeting's at, of course, at 110 Oak Street at the training center, the Wilson County MA Training Center. They're going to give BE testing, upgrades, brand new, whatever. It's required to bring your FRN number. You get an FRN number before you show up. And this Saturday, I'll make the same announcement the other fellow made. We're building antennas. We're going to build an end-fed half wave, and there's kits that you can buy from ARRL. You might get it between now and then if you have it rush delivered. But we're just going to go building some antennas and see what we come up with. A couple of guys brought it up a couple of months ago, and sounded like a good idea, so we're going to dive off in it and see what we come up with.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good, Stan. You got it. Well, anyway, yeah, the testing, I knew that was every month, but yeah, I was thinking it was at 4 o'clock. It's 4:30 this week, an exception.
Yeah, it starts at 4:30, and then we'll go into the meeting at 6. And thank you, Stan, for reminding me. Forgetful. Thanks, Richard. I have a friend that he's a general, and he was looking to take the E-test. I think he was going to go to Dalton whenever that next hand test is, but I'll be sure and tell him that it's every Saturday.
Yeah, the first Saturday of every month. Let's be clear about that one.
Yes, the first meeting, the meetings are held on the first Saturday of each month, and that's when the testing's done. Okay, thanks, Richard, for the confirmation.
Hey, Richard, if you go there, can you get actually a testing downgrade as well? There's some people that might qualify.
You're probably right, but I don't know if that's fine. Not. Never mind.
No, it's very true. I'm afraid I'd qualify. That's the problem. I don't think I could pass the extra test today.
I'm still shocked at that pass the general. You kidding?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, we tend to get into, I'll just say, a rut, and you do the things you're very familiar with. And then if you took the extra test, you go, what the heck are they talking
Right?
about? Anyway, that was Stan, Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo, and that was Richard just now. So that was kind of a misleading thing to say. That was Stan in Lebanon. He's north of downtown Lebanon. Who else is east? Anybody else east? 3, 2, 1. Okay, who else is north?
KD4T.
All right, I heard two, but I only heard one station go. Wes, you doing okay?
Yeah, doing good. By the way, I heard the HT station at my Radnor Lake. He was weak, but he was 1 or 2 bars. So I don't know if he's listening. He must have some elevation. That's a long way.
Oh, that's a long way for an HT. You're right. He did say that he did have some elevation, but he didn't say how much.
Yeah, and Richard, if you're listening, I don't hear any noise. I must be really local to people. I don't want.
Yeah, your signal's real clear there, West.
No, Nelson says hi and happy too. Other than that, we're doing good. KD4TWI.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in quite some time. It's an inside joke. Nelson and his wife happy. Long may they, well, rest in peace. Anything else than that, West?
No. Hoping to hear more HTs like that one guy did. KD4TWI.
Ah, very good. That was Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India West, up by the lake and north, kind of north of the limit. Who else is east or north?
KD4 Jillian, Danny.
Hello, Danny. You sound good as always.
Oh, thank you. You too, dude.
Yeah, well, we're not too far apart in that sense. It's about, I'm going to say 7 miles, maybe 8.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's good. Everything good with you?
Oh, yeah. Good night.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. It's nice cooling off a little bit, though. It was funny as it warmed up the last few days. When it got cold, which it did, as you know, it got real cold. And I would get a Cumberland slider turtle that lives in our pond. And he went into hiding. You know, he goes into hibernation mode. When it got warm again, hey, come on, hey, what's going on?
Oh, wow. There you go.
Now it's fun. We had that happen a few years ago when it got really cold, similar event, and then it got warm. If it warmed up like into the 60s, and all the frogs resuscitated because they also go into hibernation. I had like 6 frogs that came up. They were just sitting up there. Hey, this is great. Then it went in the next like day and a half. It went down to 30 something again. Killed all the frogs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, well, that's nature. I wouldn't mind go out and resuscitate them myself.
So you had COVID too?
Oh yeah, well I say I did. I presume I did. I have the test back probably tomorrow from Walgreens. But my wife had COVID. Hers was confirmed, and I got mine 2 days after she had hers. So I'm pretty sure that's what I had.
Oh wow. Well, I had mine during Christmas, so I know how you feel.
Well, like I said, mine wasn't as horrible as I thought it would be. I mean, I had a day or so that was pretty rough, and I was very lethargic and achy and a little bit feverish. I don't think my fever went up past. It didn't even hit 100.
Oh wow. Well, mine wasn't that bad. I just had a little bit of cough and runny nose and a little bit of sneezing.
Yeah, I had a bunch of sneezing. Yeah, it was a lot less than I expected it to be. So I was very pleased about that.
Oh yeah. It's rampant in our building. So anyway.
Yeah, no, it is. In fact, this new wave of COVID, I guess, and I don't know if it's a new strain or not. I can't keep track of the stuff they talk about, but they said it's sweeping around the country again this time of year. In fact, when we went to Summit, because my wife felt so bad, we went to Summit and we got the test and they did an evaluation. They said, yeah, you got COVID. And my wife said, really, she could barely talk. I mean, that's how bad it was. Barely could talk. She couldn't swallow because her throat was so messed up. And she asked, is there any chance I could get, I'm dehydrated because I can't drink anything. They said, we don't even have a room to give you.
Oh my.
So Summit's packed. I don't know about the other hospitals, but Summit's just filled to the gills. We joked about it later, but the emergency room on any night of the week these days is somebody asked me how was it at the emergency room and someone I said, well, kind of reminded me like the bar scene out of Star Wars. It was just filled of all kinds of people in all various forms of coughing, sneezing, and other. Just it was just all of the worst of humanity shows up. In all forms of dress. Some in pajamas, some half naked. Some just walked in. Guy was bleeding like a pig because he got cut on glass. At least that was his story. Anyway, it's just the emergency room. You could have a story just about the emergency room.
Not really. Sounds like.
Anyway, Danny, it was good to hear you on the air. Sound great. Nothing else for the net.
No, that's it.
Very good. That was Danny. He is near Cottontown, but it's West Gallatin, Kilo Delta, Fort Gulf, Oscar, November. Who else is north?
Kilo Bravo 9, man. Come back. Frank, Mount
Hey, hold on, Brent. I got Frank in there. Beat you to it. Probably just you would have blown your doors off anyway. How you doing, Frank?
Hey, good evening there, Paul. Sorry to hear that your snake. Hope you well.
Oh yeah, no, we're fine. We're getting back to square one. My wife's had it much worse than I did, but I tend to think women get hit by things harder than most men.
Yeah, no, it's going around. I know I think some of my coworkers are pretty sick. I don't know if that's what they have, but can't even get out of bed and stuff. Sounds like it.
Oh well, the short story is that the day I felt like I had said, I think I'm really coming down with something because I had a sore throat kind of for a couple of days. Not real sore, but just irritated. And so I took some naproxen sodium, and I took a good swig of that NyQuil, and I went to bed. It was fine. And I got to feeling bad in the middle of the night. I went to get up to go to the bathroom. I almost fell over. I was so out of sorts. I was dizzy, and I was like, holy crap, this is unbelievable. And when I got back to bed, I was shivering so much, it was like, it was like an 8-cylinder car missing on 4 cylinders. I just was shaking like crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just what you took to do. But no, I had it, 3 times now. I haven't had it this round so far, so hopefully I don't get it. Well, yeah, anyway, on the signal thing, it's weird. Everybody sounds great, and Richard I have no problem hearing him, but I do have about S8 of pure noise, and when Richard is talking, in between the syllables, I could hear like that car island sound that he was talking about in his signal.
Oh, that's wild. So something's in between you and him up on the northern sector.
Yeah, it's a floater. It's not super constant. It's almost like a cylinder, like an engine idling and missing. But it's about S8 over here. But everybody's, pretty much everyone covers it up. At least the last few people are, you guys are all 20 over plus, 40 over, no problems at all.
Yeah, that's probably just that Russian interference.
That's what it is. We'll blame it on them.
I don't know if I ever mentioned it to the group. I probably did. But when we were in Vietnam, in the Tonkin Gulf in North Vietnam, and because we were up there, the Russians were monitoring us. They had Russian freighters. They were really like Russian trawlers. They were monitoring our radio traffic, and they were also eyeballing what we were doing. And we were eyeballing what they were doing. But I don't remember I don't really know who was doing, but they seemed to be jamming. They were jamming our signals, our radio signals, but the jamming equipment was so bad. We used to laugh about it because we could still hear each other perfectly well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's kind of funny. Yeah. Well, I was going to make a comment on, at least on FM, you are right on the money because I went ahead and bit the bullet and got GPS locked here. And yeah, so I was off purpose for a while there.
Oh, wow. I don't think I would have known that. It must not have been much.
Well, on FM, you really can't tell. It was on sideband. I always had to tune off a little bit when we do the sideband one. I just tune to you. So, it's kind of funny. There's really no such thing as being off frequency unless you're transmitting receiver out of whack. But, but just there is when you're doing digital stuff. So, anyway, I went ahead and locked this thing. I was playing around with it both on the SDR and on this thing. And I'm using on this 9700, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm using a different way where it's constant, it's locked, it doesn't check and reset. It's just permanently, it's locked, period. So I did it that way, and it basically overrides the internal with an external signal coming to the back, and it's amazing how much it shifts.
Oh yeah, well, it's better than the old tube radio.
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm sure, but yeah, it's funny. It's fine as long as you don't transfer a lot. But like, if you get long-winded, it'll start shifting. Now we don't ever hear it on FM really, but you can see it on the display.
Yeah, no, I have seen it on display. You're right, and it's not even perceptible to my ear.
Not on FM. No, not on what what I call. This is really not wideband like radio, like broadcast radio, but not on the wider bandwidth. It's not that noticeable. But you get on sideband and it's noticeable. You start getting the Mickey Mouse or you sound funny, and then on the digital mode, you lose your signal.
Absolutely. Anyway, anything else for the net, Frank?
No, just was gonna say, yeah, we're building antennas over there next coming up. Some guys are building the kit. Some of us are building from scratch. It's more to just show that it's easy to do and to have fun doing it.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I've had a good time with my NFET app. Right?
Yeah, I'm modifying mine a little bit, and it's gonna be 11 bands. Some of it's gonna do 160 and 6 meters and whatnot. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put it up because it's twice the size. But yeah, I'm doing a little twist on mine with a little external box that you switch. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
All right, very good. That was Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo here in Northwest Mount Juliet. Who else is? Who was the other party in?
Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec.
Yeah, that's who it was. I should have remembered. How you doing, Brett?
Hey, pretty good, Paul. Pretty good. How you been doing? Sounds like you got kind of under the weather.
Oh, I was, but not really for very long. I was only had, like I said, a day and a half or so where I really felt bad. And the rest of the time was just I had a good excuse for not doing anything.
No, I understand that. I've been 3 months of that mess.
How's that leg doing?
Actually, I got to walk around the store today for a little bit. No crutches, no boot on.
Wow, did you have to retrain your ankle or anything?
Oh yeah, I'm in rehab.
Oh, I'll bet. Because when you sit idle like that for how long was it? 2 months?
I was down for 3.5 months.
Yeah, man. All that stuff goes into locked up mode.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. I had that first experience when I broke my elbow when I was 8 years old, and getting after 9 weeks in a cast, the elbow and the head, I couldn't even, I couldn't straighten out my arm at all.
No, well, like I said, when I did this, I had no control of my foot whatsoever.
Oh boy. I've had occasions where I have no control of my foot, but that was on different things happening.
Yeah, that was numb from another substance.
Yeah, thankfully I don't do that anymore. Anything else with the net, Brett?
No, I just wanted to say hi and hope you get feeling better.
Oh yeah, no, really doing fine. That was Brent, Kilo Echo 4 Romeo Victor Quebec. In fact, the last net I did, people asked me, well, your voice sounds a little rough. I go, yeah, it is rough. It was rough. Anyway, he is in Northwest Mount Juliet as well. Who else is west? Excuse me, on north.
WB0NO1.
Hello, Mr. Sounds Great. You guys sound like you have the widest band radio. Just due to your, I don't know, you're close, but you're no closer than anybody else. You sound great.
Well, that's good. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my melodious, airy voice. We're about over the COVID here. We both got tested today, and both were negative, so that's a good sign.
Now, when they do that, they say it's negative. You have to have the antibodies in you, right? So they're seeing that, but it's not active. Is that the key there?
I don't know. We're just taking home tests, but they've been they seem accurate so far. My wife was positive twice, and I decided she got tested for the third time today after I don't know, about a week and a half, and I took one with her. But I've never got sick. She's had it, tested positive twice, and
managed to avoid it. Not sure how.
Did you make sure to tell her she was the weaker sex?
No, I don't think so. I got to turn the radio down too.
No, it's really funny though, but some people obviously take these things worse than others. You know, they get more worse. In fact, I can't believe my wife she was struggling with, she felt horrible. Just horrible for several days. And I was like, okay, I had it for like a day, and then I was back to kind of normal. It's like, man, I'm not sure this is COVID, same COVID, you know?
Yeah. Well, of course, we had a, I don't know, I guess it was last February, so almost a year ago. And she's had, I don't know, I guess 4 vaccinations. I've had 3, and you still get it. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
No, actually, that's what's so funny. My brother and I were talking about that. We were texting back and forth about that because he lives up in New York. He said something about whatever. I don't even forget what he said. I said, well, you know, this deal, you're supposed to just follow the science. You know, it's whatever that is.
Exactly. Whatever that is. That's a good way to describe it. All right. Well, have a good evening. And I guess Frank summarily trounced me when we doubled earlier.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got a big signal. But you've got an excellent signal, too. That was Mark, Whiskey Bravo 0, November, Oscar. Who else is north?
Kilo Charlie 9, Echo Tango, Sierra, Paul, North Mount Juliet.
Hey, Paul, you're home again.
I am. I just got home yesterday.
Oh, boy. Yeah. What was the event you were at this time? Was it one that was televised?
No, I managed to stay away from all that and was up with family in the Great White North.
Nice and cool up there, I take it.
It was actually warmed up a little bit. It wasn't too bad, typical. There's a lot of snow, a lot of snowmobiling. But it was good. It was nice.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid and living in the north, you know, about the same climate, I think Wisconsin's a little worse than where I live. I didn't know anybody who even owned a snowmobile in the 60s, not one person. I only knew one person who owned a snowblower.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole thing now. I mean, when I was a kid living up there, I had these old beater snowmobiles, but they got us around. Now it's a whole thing. Everybody's got these souped up machines. They're all 4-stroke turbocharged. They're nuts, but of course, a lot of people are whacking themselves off up there. We were listening to the police scanner, and there's a lot of people hitting each other and hitting trees.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I really can. What's a low end? It's just snow ski. What's a low end one go for?
Oh, like a new one.
A new one? Yeah, new one. What's a new low end one cost these days?
Yeah, I don't even know. I think it's a lot though. I think it's around 15. They're not cheap. I was always just finding the beaters and fixing them up or whatever when I lived up there. But I mean, they're up there. They're just as much as almost some of them are as much as a car.
Oh, that's crazy. If that's true, they ought to come with heaters.
Some of them do. Heated handlebars and seats and all that was a thing forever. But now they got like heated jackets and suits and helmets. You plug yourself into the snowmobile. That we never had that. We were lucky if we had the heated handlebars.
So really, they're about the same cost as a good motorcycle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One that you only ride for 2 months a year.
Yeah, that sounds crazy to spend that much on that.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy, but there's a lot of them up there doing it.
Oh, I know it. I've seen the trail markings, on the maps for like New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. You think how many people are on those things? But a lot of them are.
Yeah, I mean it was fun when I was doing it. There's a lot of the old logging railroads that they ripped out back in the day. That's what became all the snowmobile trails. So all the towns are pretty well connected. I mean, it's fun. You can go do a lot of things. A lot of the kids ride them to school just because, why not, I guess. But, But yeah, I don't know. Love to do it again, but not at those prices. I'll try to find another old beater again.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It seems like an awful lot of money just for what like you said, a short-term hobby.
Yeah, and then you got to trail it around and store it somewhere.
Yeah, you either have a trailer or you got to have a pickup truck, one of the two.
Yeah, but no. Other than that, it was good little stay. Got to see family, get some good cheese and all the good fun things you find up there in Wisconsin, and a long drive home. But seemed to make it okay, and say Happy New Year, everybody.
It's so funny to me that Wisconsin has that reputation for cheese. It just always cracks me up for some reason.
It is good though. It's the real stuff up there.
Oh no, I've got some of it right here in the refrigerator. My son bought me some for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that and sausage. I'm big into that kind of stuff. The bratwurst.
Yeah, got that too. I got the whole schmear in the box.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good stuff.
No, it is good. That's always good. No, cheese is good anyway, and it really does. I got a kick because having been born and raised in New York State, the western end of New York State, right there on the Canadian border, you learn things about your own state that everybody else seems to not know. Wisconsin, everybody knows about cheese. Everybody. So obviously it's a big dairy state as well. But people don't realize that, at least it used to be. I don't know what today. New York was a huge dairy state. It was in the top handful of dairy states in the nation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, yeah, it's funny. It's been known for. They do, everything else there too. They grow a lot of corn and soy and whatever. And, cranberries is another big thing of their fame up there. Kind of like Maine, I guess, the same sort of temperate weather.
Oh, I didn't realize that Wisconsin had a lot of cranberries.
Oh yeah, my brother works at one of the big ones up there, Nokomis. They sell to everybody, Ocean Spray, whatever. If you had any kind of cranberry, it probably came from either Wisconsin or Maine or some combination of that.
Cool. Yeah, that's what the other thing. People tend to, like I said, people get it in their mind's eye of what a state is like, or location of the country is like. And I would tell people that where I lived, I said it was, yeah, we had quite a bit of dairy, but we had we had huge peach orchards, huge apple orchards, huge cherry orchards, and also just the other farm crops, lots of corn and lots of wheat, lots. I don't think we had any soy, but I could be mistaken about that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that a lot of the farms up there are still like sort of like your family owned, private farms or whatever. They're not like the big corporate ones like you see in Indiana and Illinois and stuff. The massive farms that are the size of a county. But so it's kind of neat. It's a cool little vibe, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is cool. It is. No, the family farm isn't quite dead, but it's near dead. I imagine most of the successful farmers have consolidated at least, or they lease property from another farmer because they don't get the economy of scale if they only got 100 acres.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, anything else for the net there, Paul?
No, sir. Just happy to be back in my own bed again. So happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time up in Wisconsin. I've only been there once, and that was years and years ago. It's that whole part of the country is pretty neat. Who else is north or anywhere?
This is Peter, 412E in Hermitage.
Hello, Pat. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay, I guess. Just a little tired from work. It's only Wednesday, but I'm already there. Just managing to stay safe from the COVID stuff going around and everything. Sorry to hear that it went your way, but glad to hear it wasn't any worse.
No, like I said, we were surprised because that was not the reason I got the COVID vaccines in January of 22. I guess it was January 21. And but because number one, I'm over 70 years old. That's number one. And number two, well, actually three reasons. I'm over 70. I have some lung issues, although they're fairly minor. And my wife works at a place every day because she's still working, and it has got dozens and dozens of people at the U.S. Postal Service main building there in Royal Parkway. So the odds of her bringing it home, I thought, were fantastic. Well, we go by 2.5 years, nothing. We didn't have any problems at all until this last week.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty strange how that hits. I've seen people take a lot of precautions and it hits anyway. I've seen others not take any precautions and be fine. It's just, a pretty unpredictable thing, when and where it's going to hit, and, whatever the course it takes. I know my wife, before she died, she had it once, and I think one day had a little bit of a sniffle for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, blew her nose, everything was fine. And a couple of days later, come to find out she had COVID. But, that was it. That's not what she died from. But, it's just very minor. But you had a friend of ours, he got it and just never seemed to get any better. It just got worse and worse, and ended up being in a hospital for, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks before he finally passed away from it.
Yeah, that's nasty. It really is, because we knew a couple of people that passed away, and they were in their late 60s, middle to late 60s. And like I said, there's no predicting who's going to get it and how bad it's going to be.
Yeah, I know it's crazy stuff, but right now we're all doing over here. We're doing okay. I guess we're just count our blessings in that regard. Your radio, your signal, everything's sounded a whole lot better than the last time I was on the net and heard you. Did you find out what was making it give that low signal last time?
No, not a clue. I have no idea what that was. They didn't change anything, and it seems to be fine now. Anyway, everything else okay though?
Yeah, everything's else going okay on our end, and everything. Just looking forward to maybe being able to go to that breakfast. I believe it's Saturday morning there.
Remember, it's the second Saturday, not this Saturday, because this Saturday will be the first Saturday of the month.
Okay, that'll make it even easier to schedule then. So looking forward to that. But that's all I have tonight for the net.
All right, very good. That's Pat. He's in Hermitage. Kilo Oscar 4 Yankee Quebec Echo. Who else is north or anywhere? I heard somebody, but it was a very weak signal, and I couldn't understand what they were saying because it's very, very, very weak signal. Does anybody have a relay on that? It actually always said it almost had like a repeater tone at the end of it. If any of you heard that.
A moment ago, I believe I heard. I can't remember the full call. Is it ADO?
Roger, KQ4 ADO.
Oh man, you must have been doing something funky there, John.
What, a weird signal?
Well, I couldn't hear you, number one.
Oh, maybe I doubled or something. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have for the net.
Okay, very good. Everything going on all right for you?
Yeah, Roger. Everything good for you?
Oh yeah, as long as I feel after having those few days of crappy COVID, I feel great.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Man, I hope you get better soon. It sucks. The flu this year sucks too.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure it does. I did get a seasonal flu shot though too, but who knows what will happen with that?
It's a gamble.
Well, no, like I said, there's no predicting who's going to get it and who's not going to get it. Nothing's predictable and that kind of stuff. Anyway, everything's all well in Brentwood though, huh?
Oh yeah, but that's pretty much it for me. KQ4 ADO.
Very good. That is John. Kilo Delta 4 Alpha Delta Oscar in Brentwood. Anybody else north or anywhere?
It's John.
What did I say?
I heard Tom.
Oh no, I think I man, I don't think I did, but okay. I could be corrected. It was John. Kilo Delta 4 Alpha Delta Oscar. No, I knew it was John in Brentwood. But a good signal, by the way, aside from whatever happened in the earlier part. Anybody else out there? Anybody else out there before we move over to where we're moving? Oh yeah, 10 meters. That's where we're going. All righty, that's where we're going. We had 27 check-ins. It was a good night as always, and it's always I appreciate everybody who shows up on the air because it's not and that's not really about me. Well, I'm part of it, but there's all the people who show up on that. What makes it good because it gives everybody an opportunity to hear, not just hear you, but hear how well their station works. And I think that there's a bunch of people who listen who try to figure out that too, because we've been around now for, like I said, we're in our 9th year, and we've had there's a revolving number of people that come and go. And some of them, I think they realize that they actually build their stations based upon this kind of a net. And then they realize, man, I can do so many more things with it. Like and I even applaud them, because if somebody likes to work repeaters, the better your station is. Although, oh man, you could talk to repeaters up in under good conditions up into Indiana, down into Alabama, Georgia, and East Tennessee, West Tennessee, depending upon your elevation. But you know what I'm saying is that building a station is very easier to do when you realize where you stand, and you realize that by listening to a net like this. You won't learn a darn thing about your station if you're talking to repeaters. Anyway, I'm moving over to 10 meters unless somebody complains. Not real complaints, just complaints as I'm moving. All right, moving over to 28415. We'll see you there in a second. Very good. It's K4PW, and I control for the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. On 10 meters, looking for check-ins from the west. Please come down. Hold on, I heard 2 people in there. I heard Richard. I'll take Richard. I heard you in there. Nice, solid, very low signal, but very solid, good copy from you, Richard. That was KI4SIB, and I believe I heard Whiskey 5 Delta, Whiskey 5. I'm trying to remember that. I wrote the call down wrong. It's Whiskey 5. What is that? Whiskey 5 Delta Foxtrot what?
Whiskey 5 Delta Foxtrot Romeo, Rick and Herman.
All right, Richard, we'll catch you later. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, Rick. I wrote it down, and instead of putting an R, I put 2 F's, and I said, that doesn't look right. Anyway, you got a good signal there. Whiskey 5 Delta Foxtrot Romeo, and that's Rick. And who else is excuse me. Who else is west? Anybody else west? Please come down. Very good. It was Kilo Delta 4, Charlie Victor Echo, and Antioch, and that's of course Greg. Good signal again, Greg. Who else is west?
Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor, Jack and Donaldson.
Very good, Jack. You copying people okay tonight?
Oh yeah, so far.
Yeah, very good. You can hear Richard?
Sure did.
Yeah, he had a good signal, good clean signal too.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good.
That's not normal for him.
Thanks for doing the net, Bob.
Very good, Jack. That's Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor. Who else is west? Or south?
Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo.
Okay, hold on one second there, Chris. Kilo, that KI4WBZ. I'm sorry. I was making sure I was writing it down here. Also, but I heard John in there. Kilo Quebec 4 Alpha Delta Oscar. Wasn't that you? Yeah. Yeah, very good. Got you in there, John. That's Kilo Quebec 4 Alpha Delta Oscar in Brentwood. And I heard Chris, Kilo India 4 Whiskey. I'll get that right in a minute. KI4 WBZ. I'll get that right. WBZ. I get that right. I did get it right that time, didn't I, Chris? Yo, Chris. It's KI4 WBZ. Must have lost him there for a second. Who else is west? Anybody south?
K3 NPR.
Hey, Mike, you sound great, but you should. You're real close. How are you copying people tonight?
Hey, you're plus 30.
Very good. Hope so. I'm what? 2 miles away?
Hey, we can imagine it's yet.
Yeah, we can guess. We're going long path, 25,000 miles. Who else is west or south? Any relays west or south? Okay, east. KM4 HQE Got you in there, Stan. Well, the signal's a little low, but I can hear you. Who else is east? Anybody east relay? Got nothing. Let's go to the north. Well, there was 2 or 3 people in there, but I heard Wes in there very strong. Which antenna you use? Which antenna you using there? That dipole, Wes?
Yeah, the vertical dipole, like TNS meter reading, please. KE4TWI.
Looks like it's. Do one more time, please.
Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India.
Yeah, it's about an S3, but it's a good solid signal. I mean, it's a good solid audio.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, very good. That was West Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India. Who was the other stations in there?
84 GLN, Danny.
Hey, Danny, you sound strong. Very good. That was Kilo Delta 4 Golf Oscar November in Cottontown / West Gallatin. Again, good signal. Was there somebody else in there east or north? Any other stations? Please come down.
Kilo Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra.
Hey, very good. You sound good, Paul. Your station didn't degrade while you're out of town.
Good to know, you never know.
No, you don't. Very good. Good to have you in there. It was Kilo Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra, Paul in North Mount Juliet, up toward the lake. Who else is north? Are you on a bad antenna tonight there, Frank? Huh, because you're really low today by comparison. Something's going on. I don't know, because like I said, it's normal. You get a big killer signal, and today it's just, down in not in the mud, but just very low audio. Well, very good. That was Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo, just delivering bad news, man. And he's in Northwest Wilson. Who else is north or anywhere? North or anywhere, please come down. All righty, we had, I don't know how many, hold on. We had 13 in there tonight, which is a little higher than average number. We're going to move right over, and for those of you that have it, on 220 and 223-415, 223-415. We'll see you then. This is K4PW. Appreciate all your participation. Yeah, one more checking. Go ahead. Hey, very good. How you doing, Steve? Well, very good. Yeah, your signal's a little low, but I can hear you pretty good. Yeah, very good. No, you're about there too, about one. But again, you're doing a great job from where you are up in Kentucky. Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there, Steve. That was Steve Alpha Charlie 9 India Mike. Now we're going to move over to 223-415 K4PW. Kilo 4 Pop Echo Whiskey. Anybody out there on 223-415 K4PW? All right, I'm hearing Frank in there, KB9RKK. Anybody else in there tonight? K4PW. Now the Earth of Soul, Frank. Do you hear anybody? Now hold on a second. Let me go over here. Let's try this one more time. Who else is in there on 223-415? All right, I got a KF4, KFQ. Yeah, I had the wrong antenna connected there. KF4, KFQ. I heard somebody else in there too. Hey, Jack, I heard you pretty good tonight. You sound great. Anybody else in there tonight? Anybody got a relay for me?
So, the core Charlie, Victor Echo.
Oh, very good. That's not a relay. That's a check-in. You can hear everybody okay there tonight, Greg?
I'm not sure. I started messing around with your antenna. I don't know. I might have missed the check-in about was Jack in there.
Just a minute. Jack, go ahead and transmit again, please. You didn't copy that, Greg?
No, normally I hear it with you, so I don't know.
Yeah. Turn your swivel chair around there, Jack. No, he says he says normally he can hear you, but I can't, and now tonight I can hear him and he can't. Oh, very good. Well, yeah, we're in a little bit. Anyway, tonight we have, for those of you who didn't hear, it's got me, K4PEW, and Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo Kilo. Then we've got Tony, KF4 KFQ, is in Smyrna, and Frank's in Northwest Mount Juliet, and Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor, Jack in Donaldson, and Greg in Antioch, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor and Echo. Is anybody else in it? I'm not hearing anybody else. But anyway, Frank, how well do you copy people from your location? Because I know you're on a kind of a bastardized antenna. Yeah, well, we actually are we find I didn't expect 220 to be that different than 2 meters, but it is different than 2 meters.
Well, I can't compare to the compromise situation. It's more like
yeah, it's really, and again, I guess I should have estimated that because it's halfway, more or less halfway between the two. So, but it is like halfway as good as 2 meters on, at least on propagation. Yeah, well, if you had a different antenna, I think things might be a lot. One that's made for 220, you might be better off. Oh yeah, no, we'll try to again. It may take a while because we're going to try to get more people on board, but we'll see. Anyway, anybody else copying Frank tonight? All right, nothing heard. Anybody else got any? Tony, how many people do you copy tonight? You know? Ah, boy, that's that Great Wall of Smyrna is holding you back.
There's going to be a nice documentary on the Apollo 11 space flight that took place back in 1969. That's just for the nerds out there.
Oh, that's cool. Is that a different special than normal?
Well, it'll be the first time I've seen it, so yeah.
Oh, very good. I'll pay that. 9:30, and what channel is that on?
Channel 8, public television.
Okay, very good. Appreciate the info on that. Tony's just saying about channel 8 on public television. There's a special on the Apollo 11 broadcast, which was about on the Apollo 11 launch back in 1969. Anybody else? Let's see, Jack. Are you only copying me? Oh man, I guess we're going to call this the K4 PEW net instead of the 223 net. I'm the only one that seems to have the center of the activity here. And who else can you hear there, Greg?
You're the only station I've heard well tonight. I could almost hear Tony breaking as well as who's the other station? RKK is there, almost heard him.
All right, very good. Okay, well, I'm going to have to triple the height of our antennas. How's that?
And of course, I didn't hear something. Yeah, but I did sort of hear Tony, but still not exactly readable.
All right, very good. Well, I won't prolong the agony anymore. We got a grand total of 5 in here. Me, K4PW, KB9 Romeo Kilo Kilo, Frank in Northwest Mount Juliet, Kilo Foxtrot 4 Kilo Foxtrot Quebec, Tony in Smyrna. We had Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor, and that's Greg. I'll get that straight. And then Jack in Donaldson, and then we had Greg, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. It's a grand total of 5, which has been about our average. I didn't hear any. There's other people that are just not in here tonight, so we'll see. Of course, we got obviously some less than good conditions tonight, so we'll see. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. K4PW closing.